Hey guys! Happy day, happy day! I hope everybody's having a happy day. I am doing an impromptu live because I have a little bit of time before my kids get home. And I thought, I'm about to start new treatment for Lyme. And I realized I haven't done a vlog about my Lyme experience. So I figured I'd hop on and catch you guys up, catch myself up. I also do this for me so that I can keep track of what's going on. So I haven't even brushed my hair, no makeup, so showing up fully authentic today, and that's awesome. And here is my little kitty. I don't know if you've been following my stories for social media, but she got attacked by a stray, and she's not doing so well. Let me turn that off. Is that better? She's not doing so well. She's got an abscess now from where the other cat bit her or scratched her. I don't know if it was a scratch or a bite. So the poor baby, she's not doing so great. Say hi, princess. She is stoned out of her mind, y'all. Are you so high? Are you so high on drugs right now? Oh, don't get up. It's okay. Don't get up. Oh, my sweet baby. Yeah, so they gave her this weird pain cream that goes between her shoulder blades and it's supposed to last for a week, and it has messed her up. She couldn't even figure out how to drink water from the faucet. So she's been like all hobbly and stuff. Poor baby. So yeah, where I don't even know where to start. Okay, so I guess I should start with what I'm adding. I'll just tell you what I'm adding first. No, I guess I should tell you what I've done. If you're here and you're watching, say hi so I know that you're here and who's here. It makes me happy to know that you're here. And if you're watching this after the live, say hi anyway, because I would love to chat. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, hey, Melinda! Poor thing that happened to my cat, sending so much love and light to your face. Thank you, Melinda. I'm really hoping that she's okay, because the vet said that she may need to have the abscess lanced, and it's just so sad. And honestly, the stuff that they gave her, this pain cream, I thought it would be a good idea because I didn't want her to be like me having, like, she's already stressed out, so I didn't want to have to be shoving a pain pill down her throat every couple of hours. So when they offered to put the pain cream on, I was like, oh yeah, that would be much better. But it lasts for like a week, and I didn't stop to think that anything that was going to be strong enough to last for a week is going to be really fucking strong. And so it kind of has her really loopy. I am going to just adjust my computer really quick, so just give me one moment to be wonky. I want to be sitting next to her, so I'm at my coffee table, which is pretty low. Aww. Okay, I think that's better. That's better angle, right? Thanks for joining, Melinda. So if I remember correctly, you are dealing with Lyme, right? Is that correct? And I think you first found me on my interview for Tuesday Talks. Is that correct? Just trying to track how we know each other. So thank you for joining. Let me turn this on silent so that we're not interrupted. Okay. If you have seen my Tuesday talk, with Heather from Quantum Healing Within, and Tony from Ropes and Wings. Then you have heard most of my Lyme story. And so if I'm repeating things, I apologize. If you haven't seen that interview yet, please check it out. Oh, I haven't even uploaded it to my channel yet. All right, I'm a little behind. I'm gonna do that. So long story short, I'll just, give the little background. I have other videos on my channel too that talk about my Lyme journey and how it used to be. But basically, I was born with Lyme disease. My mom had Lyme disease, died in 2017 from Lyme associated issues, and had my first symptoms at 5 years old, and lost the use of my legs for a little bit. Like, they got numb, and it hurt to move them. And then when I was 7, I got Hashimoto's thyroidism. And then when I was 8 or 9, mental stuff kicked in. And then when I was 10, I had lymphonodular hyperplasia, and was it was so bad. It was so rough. And then I got mono and chronic fatigue syndrome, Epstein-Barr, and endometriosis, and just things were rough for a while. I was just kind of always sick. I was just always sick. Doctors couldn't figure out what was going on because our medical system is not set up to really track Lyme. And so went from doctor to doctor to doctor, diagnosed with fibromyalgia, diagnosed with MS. At some point I lost I got what they call the MS hug, and I lost the use of my legs again for a little while. And had lots of mood and mental disorders. Yeah, girl. So Melinda is saying fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, possibly Lyme, but not diagnosed. Yes, that's how I found you. Your interview was amazing. Helped me so much. Oh, yay. Thank you for telling me that. I'm so glad. You also had endometriosis. Yeah. So one of the things Lyme does, one of the many things that Lyme does, is it goes in and it completely disrupts our endocrine system. It disrupts our hormonal balance. It goes in, it disrupts the neurotransmitters. It is such a beast. And so one of the side effects of it affecting the hormones is that we become estrogen dominant and develop endometriosis or PCOS, things like that. And I don't know. I think I spoke about it in the interview. But if you're not able to afford proper testing through IGeneX, which is the lab I would suggest, there are other labs, but that's the one where you can get it yourself. You don't need a doctor, as far as I understand. Then one of the best things you can do is add in some herbs that are known to treat Lyme disease, like cat's claw, and see how you feel. But I highly recommend starting low and slow. I recommend starting with detox first, because another thing that Lyme does is it shuts down our detox pathways. And then when we have our detox pathways shut down and we start treatment, then the die-off, all of the toxins that are formed from the die-off become trapped in the body, and they can cause a Herxheimer reaction, which can be just brutal. It can be super, super brutal. I still am not liking how low this is, so we're just gonna keep adjusting. You are up on pillows so high, doing a balancing act with my computer. Hopefully that is not a bad idea. Okay, that's better. I can tell I need to detox right now because of the bags under my eyes. I was also doing some crying today. I'm working through some stuff, doing the healing thing. So, but whenever you have bags under your eyes, it's an issue with your kidneys. It can also be a vitamin K deficiency, but I can always tell when I need to do some detoxing whenever I see that popping up. So that's one of the reasons why I'm about to go into this whole thing. So what I've done, first thing I did, I tried to find doctors that would help me, and they were charging, $750 for 45 minutes of a natural Lyme disease doctor's time. And that is not reasonable for people who are so sick that they can't work. So I wasn't able to afford treatment right away. And so I started, start where you're at, bloom where you're planted. If you don't have access to a doctor at this time, then the universe doesn't just like throw us here to leave us struggling and dying. Like, that's not how it works. When something's not available to us, we can see it as an opportunity to look around and go, okay, well, if that's not available, then it must not be for me right now. So what is available around me that I can do? And so when I first started to work on my healing, the first thing I did was I looked around and I said, okay, stress is a killer. So anything that brings me stress has to fucking go. It's got to go. And that was thoughts, beliefs, foods, behaviors, people, all the way down to my 9-year relationship at that point. We ended up getting back together and, now we're engaged, but that's a whole other story. It was toxic for a while before we both did some work. And so stress, if you have any stress in your life, do whatever you have to do to get rid of it. And that might not be this easier said than done, because you might have belief patterns holding you in that place of stress. You might have a belief pattern of abandonment. You might have a belief pattern of, I can't support myself. You might have a belief pattern of rejection. You might have all these belief patterns that are causing you to keep these stressful things in your life. And so before you can remove the stressful thing, you have to first do all of the emotional work to work through why you're allowing that stressful thing in your life in the first place, whether it's the stressful job or the stressful relationship or the stressful friends or whatever, the stressful living situation, like whatever it is, looking at what beliefs are holding you in that space where you're, keeping yourself stuck, essentially. And if anyone would like work through that, that's the work that I do now after going through my own process to heal all this stuff. Now I'm a theta practitioner, a spiritual life counselor. I do beyond quantum healing. And my sessions are pretty intense. We're going to work through some stuff and you will have a different outlook by the end of it for sure. If you want to check out some testimonials, you can go to my website, misfit-sanctuary.com. And there's some testimonies on there. But anyway, so getting rid of stress, whatever that is, money, whatever you have to do, get rid of the stress. And then what I did after that was, working on realizing that I had created a cycle where we create these like cycles where the pain that I was having was causing me to dissociate. And at the same time,
the pain was the only thing keeping me in my body. I would have spent all my time in the ether and in my mind and in the emotional spiritual realm, because that's where I felt safe. Unless if my body didn't call me back to it with pain. And so I had to look at my relationship with pain. I had to look at the relationship with myself. I had to look at what in my life was happening that was causing me to dissociate. And that was, again, a lot of mental stuff, belief patterns. But it was also, I wasn't living a life that I loved living. Like I wasn't living a fulfilled, joyous life. I wasn't chasing my dreams. I wasn't laughing enough. I wasn't, I was really stuck. And so when we live stuck lives, we dissociate. And it's really easy to say, well, I'm bedridden. So how can I live a life that is fulfilling while I'm bedridden? And there's the work to do. How can I live a fulfilling life while I'm bedridden? For me, that came with, I started my social media stuff. I used to be super active in social media. It was the way I connected. I shared my story. I created content for other people that had Lyme disease, and I shared my experience of what I was going through, and I lived a fulfilled life knowing that I was doing the work that was then going to empower me not only to feel better for myself, but to walk other people through it too. Working with our thoughts, looking at how we view our situation, how we view our life circumstances, the emotions that we're avoiding or what we need to lean into. There's just, there's so much. So I did a lot of that work and relationship work. I looked at my codependency tendencies and behaviors and worked on learning boundaries. Lyme disease, any virus is a mirror that we do not have boundaries. It's literally an invasion, right? It's invading. Something has invaded our body. And when we look at that metaphysically, that is a direct reflection of the lack of boundaries we have with ourselves, the lack of boundaries we have with people around us in our relationships. Boundaries down to like what I ate, knowing that I needed to do something for myself and not doing it, overstepping my own boundaries and then using anger as a boundary, or the beliefs. I made myself sick because it, like, so this is one of the, we talk about secondary gains, which is like, how is this negative situation helping you, meet a need, essentially. And because I didn't know I was allowed to put down boundaries, I didn't know what boundaries look like, I didn't know what my boundaries were, I was so disconnected from me as an individual, and it was all about me being pleasing for other people so they wouldn't leave me, so they would like me, so I could get attention, so whatever. And so I had to work on that relationship of boundaries with myself, and it started with first me. It's easy to say, like, oh, well, if you have a boundary issue of not eating properly, let's take that for example. Like, okay, one of the ways I overstep my own boundaries, which is then leading to me being sick. Oh, that's what I was saying. So I created my illness. I accept that I created my illness because it was easier for me to say, no, I can't do that, I'm sick, than it was for me to say, that doesn't feel in alignment. Or it was easy for me it was just the easy way to put on a boundary. I didn't have to do any work, right? And so I had to do that work of learning why didn't I feel comfortable saying, like, that's not in alignment, or I feel called to spend time by myself. And it all was related to people pleasing. And so I had created, again, this loop where I made myself sick so that I could put it down as a boundary. And because I kept using that as my boundary, I made myself sick. And, it becomes this like dog chasing its own tail. So when we're dealing with any virus at all, whether you've got a flu or something as crazy as Lyme, you're looking at boundary issues. And so you want to really pay attention to, where am I overstepping my own boundaries, and why am I overstepping my own boundaries? And so when we look at something, first start with the self before you try to go out and work on your boundaries with people. And so it was like, when we take something like food, right? Well, I know in order for me to be well, I feel best when I eat this particular way. For me, I feel really well when I eat predominantly fruits with some vegetables. Not everybody is the same. I also need to eat some fish at least once a week. My blood type is O positive, and going vegan and have my whole vegan journey and realizing I can't be vegan is a whole other video. But everybody is the same. And so find what works for you. And if you need to use and start with a template first of paleo or vegan or fruitarian or whatever, start there, but tweak it and figure out what works for you. And so I knew that I felt best when I ate a particular way. And if I'm completely honest, I still do struggle with this. I would eat other stuff. I would eat stuff that my body didn't want. And so I had to look at, like, why am I doing that? Like, what, why am I doing that? Do I have a belief that I deserve to be punished? Is it a reflection of, I don't feel like I'm worth it? Is it a reflection, a reflection of, like, I'm not worth the time it takes to put into that? What trauma is around food? For me, I had a lot of trauma around food from when I was younger. And so this is such a slow process to just take piecemeal by piecemeal by piecemeal, looking at our life and going, okay, and then once I worked with myself and I got my own boundaries to like 80%, like I said, sometimes, man, cheese, a good cheese, a raw cheese, oh my goodness, my body hates it. Hates it. And then that also brings up addiction, right? Understanding that things like dairy, they work in the body like a drug. There is an addictive quality to it. So understanding that, like, if you have an issue with sweets, then it may be a situation where you have parasites and you need to look at that. So that's what I did for a while. I worked with my emotional well-being and my boundaries. I used the world around me as a clear reflection of what was going on within me. And I understood that when I shifted what was going on within me, so the world around me would also shift. And I did that for a while. I did that for a long time, until money showed up to go to a doctor. And I think I worked like on the metaphysical, emotional, spiritual side of things for quite a few years. And I would do herbs, whenever money did come along, I would try some herbal protocols. I would integrate some herbs. I would take my supplements. For a while I did cannabis therapy, which I highly recommend. Cannabis kills Lyme, AIDS, and cancer. You want to look for a product or make your own product. It's not hard, called FICO, which is full extract cannabis oil. I have a video somewhere about that. And basically it's using 100 proof alcohol as the solvent to remove the properties of cannabis. instead of like Rick Simpson oil uses chemicals, and no matter how much you process it, there's still chemical in it. Not to say that it's not effective. So if that's what you have access to, then that's what you have access to, and use that and just detox. But if you can, get the best quality and get the full extract cannabis oil. So and the thing with cannabis oil is we're get to this high dose of a gram a day, which is really high. With Lyme, you're doing micro doses. Like, you're not even really going to feel the psychoactive effects of it. And if you are, then you're probably taking too much, because what the cannabis does is it stimulates your immune system. And you want to find that sweet spot where you're stimulating your immune system just enough that it knows that there's something going on that it needs to address. But you don't want to stimulate it so much that it goes into overdrive and attacks everything, and then you have all these issues. So I did cannabis therapy for a little bit, and just, whatever I could here and there. And then a few years ago, I was able to get, and I did a lot of metaphysical stuff. Like, really, I worked with a wonderful healer, Amber Murphy. She did emergence care. She's my spiritual teacher and just helped me so much. I worked with, emotional support coaches. Jamie Shear, emotional wellness is transformational to work with. And I worked a lot with stuff like that. And then I got enough money from Carlos, my now partner, my now then partner, to go to Dr. Minkoff in Clearwater, Florida. And we paid like $5,000 for testing. He had gotten paid. He's in Bloodline season 3 on Netflix. I don't know what episodes, but he plays a Cuban drug lord bad guy. So check him out on Netflix. And so he had gotten, I think what happened was he got a big residual, or he got paid for it, and he was like, hey, let's do this. I think that's what happened. I can't remember where the money came from, but the money came in. We went to Dr. Minkoff. I had heard really great things about him, and he really is wonderful. He was a infectious disease doctor, and then his wife had mercury poisoning, and he saw how messed up the system was through that, and then decided to become a natural doctor. And so he has a clinic where he treats all kinds of stuff, Lyme being one of them. So we go, and he does all these testing, and I find out that I've got all these like parasites and Lyme and mold infection and hormone imbalance and neurotransmitter imbalance and all of that. And he puts me on herbs and supplements that really helped. I did a little bit of hormone replacement therapy that kind of got my body back in balance, and that I treated with him for about a year and a half. And then after we treated like the parasites and I did his herbal protocol, it just seemed like I hit a plateau, and I wasn't able to afford the hyperbaric oxygen chamber or the IV therapy that they were charging for. So I had quit going, and I still wasn't doing. I wasn't. I was like 60% better. I was still in a lot of pain. And then I believe what happened was COVID happened. Treating the mold, by the way, was transformational. And what I took was colloidal silver nasal spray. And it was mixed with EDTA. The EDTA is a biofilm disruptor. So, but there are other things that you can use as biofilm disruptor, like GSE. So, which is in X Clear or Clear. I don't know how to say it. It's XLEAR. Anyway, and it also treats parasites in the brain. So I did all of that stuff, and my mood changed, and a lot of the pain went away, and things were great. But I still wasn't 100%. So then we started to do, then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I started taking ivermectin. I did the horse paste, and I'm still here today, and I didn't turn into a horse. And so when I started ivermectin, that was a game changer. So I started ivermectin in 2021, and I was taking micro doses. And even after I had done all of the herbal stuff that the doctor had put me on, like the ivermectin was what kicked it into like I am so grateful for ivermectin and for COVID, because I don't think that I would have been brave enough to try ivermectin if it wasn't for COVID, to be completely honest. Melinda says mold may be an issue with me. I lived in a home with mold. That's the thing, honestly, is so many of us are living with mold and we don't realize it. We don't realize it. And if you've lived in mold, it's not that it may be an issue. It is an issue. Like, we are not supposed to be breathing in mold, and there's all different kinds of mold. So if you're dealing with mold, there's I highly recommend a colloidal silver nasal spray. Highly recommend it. 3 times a day for 60 days is what he started me with. And then I felt so amazing, I was afraid to stop it, so I went another 60 days. It may have been 90 days and 90 days. So that's because what happens is the mold gets into our nasal passages, and then it releases the endotoxins into the brain. Hi, baby. My boys just got home. Hi. I'm doing a live. Hi, sweet boys. Welcome home. Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. They were at a sleepover. So and then for the body, there's lots of things that you can do naturally to move mold through. Cilantro tablets, chlorophyll, greens, lots of greens. Cholera. I never say that right, but when you're dealing with Lyme, there's an order you want to treat it in. You want to do parasites, mold, and then Lyme, because if you have parasites and mold, and you try to treat the Lyme, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The body can't fight the infection while there's mold and parasites. So must start with parasites and mold, and then the Lyme. If there's, maybe that's your only issue. Like, mold can cause so many issues, and they really parallel with Lyme. So, treating that is like super important. So we did that, and then, so I started the ivermectin, and I did the horse paste for about 2 years, and then I just started to feel guided intuitionally that it was time for me to switch to human ivermectin. I don't know why. When I started the ivermectin, though, I will tell you, it is a systemic medication. You take it once a week usually, or twice a week, depending on, work with your doctor. Do what your doctor tells you to do. I in the beginning was told to do it once, so that it stays in your body for 4 days. So once a day, once a week. And I was experiencing blood parasites. So when I took the ivermectin, it was deeply uncomfortable because I could feel the parasites dying in my blood all over my body. And I got this, like, it wasn't painful, but it was uncomfortable. It was like this tickling feeling all over my body. And what helped me with that is, Odin, you want to get down? Hold on. Sorry. My kitty is trying to get down. Hold on. There you go. Oh, look at her and Buddha. Oh, oh. It hurts my soul to see her like this. It's so sad. It's so sad. Baby, what are you doing? She's so drugged up. She doesn't even know what she's doing right now. So I got distracted. Sorry. Right. So what helped the die-off reaction from the ivermectin was doing saltwater enemas. What? Did you say gross? Micah?
Huh?
Were you talking to me? Did you say gross?
No, I said silly Buddha.
Oh, Buddha's being silly. I'd rather cat. So I did saltwater enemas, and it flushed out all of the stuff that was going on. It just made me feel so much better. And I did that, and I was still dealing with like so much pain. I was taking kratom. I've been taking kratom for 7 years. And it is something I highly recommend if you're dealing with, like, I was in so much pain, I was suicidal. I had been on opiates, and I came off of opiates, and I tried so hard to live without any pain medication, and I could not. The pain in my body was so immense. The inflammation was so immense that I kept trying to leave my body. So I had to find something for pain, and kratom is literally a lifesaver. I do really want to suggest that everybody take, if you're going to take kratom, that you understand it is an addictive substance. It is in a coffee family. And so just like you can become addicted to coffee, you can become addicted to kratom. It's not going to make you want to go rob a bank or anything, but if you take it every day and you become dependent on it, when you stop taking it, it's not very comfortable. That's what I'm dealing with now. When I started it, I didn't have any guidance, and nobody told me to take tolerance breaks. So I've been taking it for 7 years without any breaks. And now when I stop taking it, I don't feel well. I feel fluish is basically how it feels, like again, a flu. The inflammation returns because it's an alkaloid and it's anti-inflammatory. So anyway, I highly recommend it if you're in severe pain, and proceed with caution. Understand that it is a medicine, and not to take it every day. You can take it 3 days and then take a day off. Take it 3 days, take a day off, so your body doesn't become dependent. So I took kratom through all of it so that I could just live life, because not living life was absolutely depressing. And I couldn't afford to be depressed. So I had to do something to get me out of that. Melinda, I use kratom for my pain. I also took myself off hydrocodone. Kratom definitely saved me too, as I was too. Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. It is amazing medicine. Do you, I would be so interested if you deal with any kind of like withdrawal symptoms. Like I take it multiple times a day. And like I said, I have for 7 years. And so I definitely am, dealing with some withdrawal stuff. But I'm working on weaning my way down, because now I wonder if I'm I don't think I'm in actual pain anymore. I think I'm just having like withdrawal symptoms when I stop taking it. So I'm trying to wean down. I also really want to do an ayahuasca trip, and Buddha can go out. Yeah. I want to do an ayahuasca trip, and I can't do ayahuasca while being on kratom. So I'm working on weaning my way off so that I can see, like, do I still actually need the kratom? And so I can do that. So that's a whole other journey that I'm going to be sharing. I've been nervous to share it. I think I have I'm working through some guilt and shame around kratom because I have a history of being an addict. And so having this experience where I am physically dependent on something has been like triggering, you know. And so I'm working through all of my feelings around that and having grace and compassion for myself because it was a necessity. Like, in order for me to stay on this planet, I needed something for pain. So working through that. And then I was doing the ivermectin, and I was, doing the fruitarian diet, and I was doing, yoga and meditation and breath work and mind stuff and taking the herbs and doing all of the stuff and taking ivermectin, but I was still in some pain. And then in July of last year, I did a 14-day. I was in so much pain, I could not walk I live in a camper. I couldn't walk from my bedroom to the bathroom. It was the bottoms of my feet. I think I was in a Bartonella flare or Babesia flare. And I was just in so much pain, and I couldn't understand what is going on. Like, I had done all this treatment and yada, 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 and I had gotten better, and then I'd gotten worse, and I'd gotten better and gotten worse. And the ivermectin was definitely making it better, but I was like, is this die off? I didn't know what was going on. And I came across this woman, Sunita, who did the ionic medical grade ion foot detox. Medical grade, okay? That's important. Medical grade detox foot baths. And she talked me into doing a 14-day detox with her, where I did a foot bath every day for 14 days. And it was a game changer. Game changer. Game changer. By the third day, I was up, sweeping, like I was moving. Blew my mind. The stuff that came out in my foot bath was so gross. I have a video that I documented my journey through it, and I'm not great with like editing. This is why I do lives all the time, because once it's out, once I'm like, blah, this is what happened, blah, 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 like that, I'm done. I don't want to take the time to sit and edit and do my videos and meow, 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 meow. So I have my whole experience documented from the foot detox, and I will get that video up there so you can see the stuff that came out of my feet. And you can, I track my progress. And by the third day, it was already a game changer. And by the end of the 14-day, I had my life back. The pain was gone. I was dreaming again and sleeping. My mind was so much clearer. The memory issues went away. So an ionic foot detox, it detoxes the whole body, but the particular machine that we use, because after that I bought the machine, and now I'm a practitioner and I do medical grade ionic foot detoxes in the community, because it made such a difference for me. I was like, oh, I have to incorporate this into my business. I have to be able to offer this to people. This is amazing. The company, Optimum Energetics, through Hymbas.com, HYMBAS.com, their main thing is it detoxes heavy metals. And it also detoxes the rest of the body. I mean, you can see in the foot bath what is detoxing, whether it's your gallbladder. It looked like my feet took a shit in the water. Sorry to be crass, but it was gross. It was so gross. And you can tell what organ is detoxing based on what thing is detoxing. If you're detoxing tobacco, if you're detoxing metals, it smells like metals. And, there's a lot of like iffy information on the internet about it, and so I understand why people are skeptical. That's why I again say medical grade machines made in the USA, third party tested. You know, my machine is amazing. And so it gave me my life back. The pain was gone, and I was like blown away. My digestion went back to, I mean, I can eat, you know, I hadn't really been able to eat for years. And then I started, I was like, since then, I have my life back. I started my counseling business, you know, I finished school, and now I'm in another class. And that was the thing. And I will be honest with you, not everybody has the same shift that I had. I don't know why I got such a drastic shift. All of my clients that have done a 14-day detox with me, I've had one that has had a massive shift also. And the thing that I can put two and two together is that we were both really serious about what we were eating while we were doing it. And we were healing the gut while we were going through the foot detox. So I think that's a big proponent of it. But outside of that, you know, I have clients, and I mean, they're dreaming again, their emotions are regulating easier, they are not having as much forgetfulness, there's less pain in the body, less inflammation, less swelling. You know, everybody that I work with has had like really wonderful results. It was an incredible investment. I'm glad that I bought it, and I'm grateful to offer it to the community. And I still haven't had anybody that has had such a drastic, other than this one person. So I don't know why that was. I mean, maybe it is vibrational, and I had just done all of the work, like in the emotional, mental realm, that and done all the earth. It was just ready to shift. Like I don't know. My prayer is that everybody gets that that drastic of a response, because it literally was night and day. And I am so grateful for Sunita. You know, it was the icing on the cake of all the work that I had done. And the machine is incredible. And so if you are in the Gainesville area in Florida and you would like foot detoxes, then hit me up. If you would like a foot detox and you're not in the Gainesville area, then you can go to hymbas.com, HYMBAS.com, and look for practitioners in your area and go get you some. Go get you some. So then the last year has been just, you know, getting better and better. And I've been working. I mean, I would say I'm like 80%. I'm at 80%. My mood is amazing. You know, I do still take kratom for energy and mood. It helps with energy, mood, and pain. But like I said before, I'm not sure if I'm in pain anymore. I feel like the pain I feel usually comes when the shelf life of the kratom has ended, if that makes sense. And so then pain comes, and then I take more kratom, and then I'm not in pain anymore. So that's why I'm going through the process of weaning off, so that I can really see, like, do I need to be taking it? And so over the last year, it's just been, you know, like ivermectin. I take ivermectin 12 milligrams twice a week. I work with this wonderful nurse practitioner, Janice, at the Hippocrates Institute in Jupiter, Florida. And she's the one that I get my ivermectin through. And she has just been amazing. Again, an angel, just an absolute angel. I am so grateful. We do telehealth visits, so I don't even have to leave my house to work with her. She's reasonably priced. We work with a pharmacy, Everwhelm Pharmacy, and it's just been really incredible. And so for the last year, I have been on, maybe it's even been 2 years. No, it's only been a year since I consider myself in remission. And because I'm living life. I can work again. I can work, you know, I can go out once a week. Like maybe I'm not at the point where I can go out every night, but I don't know that that's healthy. So I was like, awesome. My prescription for ivermectin is weaning out. I'll just come off of it. See how I do. So I did that, and I tried to stop taking the ivermectin, and I started to feel icky again. Wah, wah, wah. So when we're dealing with Lyme, we're dealing with something, it's persister cells. And what happens is those persister cells, they become immune, what's the word? Undetectable, right? Resistant to antibiotic therapy or ivermectin therapy or whatever. They'll go into a biofilm, which is like a mucus film, and they'll go in and they'll multiply and multiply and multiply and multiply. And while they're in the biofilm, the immune system can't detect it. And they've shown studies that not only can the immune system not detect it, but if it detects it, then the biofilm can create a charge, an electric charge, and zap the white blood cell. What? Like, that's an evolution. Like, I think Lyme disease is an intelligence. I think it is I think it's a form of AI, because it's evolving. And so the fact that when I came off of the ivermectin, I started to feel icky shows that I am still dealing with biofilm and the persister cells, which means it's time to ramp it up. And that takes me to where I'm at today. So what I am adding to my repertoire so that I can get 100% better and not just 80% better. And I'm so excited to be 100% better. Is we are going to do a zapping, as my practitioner calls it. And I've gained weight since I started ivermectin. When I started ivermectin, I was 100 pounds maybe. And so now I'm at 130, and I feel healthy and strong and beautiful, and I love it, and I'm so grateful. And so she raised my dose to 15 milligrams twice a week. But what we're going to do in the zapping is I'm going to be taking a double dose every day for 6 weeks. So I will be taking 30 milligrams every day for 6 weeks to see how we respond to that. And then I'm also adding some herbs that are biofilm disruptors. And I got these off of, let me plug in my computer. I got these off of Dr. Marty Ross. He's a Lyme teacher or practitioner. They are from Montana Pharmacy. And so I got cat's claw and Atoba bark. And so if you go on to Dr. Marty Ross' website, and you look up biofilm disruptors, you'll find articles about this. You can also go on to my Facebook page. I've shared the article. And so we start with 5 drops of each twice a day, and then every day add a drop until we work up to 30 drops twice a day for, I think it's 60 days. I don't know. I would have to look. And so these are going to break up the biofilm, which can perhaps flood the body with the spirochetes that have been in the biofilm, and then the high dose of the ivermectin will zap those buggers. And if I am in the spirit of true authenticity and honesty, I am nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because my business is thriving. I have coaching clients. I'm getting back into doing my social media and building a life, and I love it so much. And I'm loving every day, and I'm so grateful that I get to do the work that I do and work through people transforming their lives and be a witness to their healing. And I'm terrified of losing that. And so there's a part of me that is really nervous about about doing this new protocol. And I'm not going to let the fear hold me back. The only way out is through. And the longer that I, shuffle around not being serious about this, then the longer that I'm dealing with it. And I'm so super ready to be over this, honestly. It's been a long 43 years of dealing with this. And so, what I am going to be doing, as well as adding these Atoba bark and cat's claw, and then adding the ivermectin, 30 milligrams every day for 6 weeks. She said that there's a chance that I might feel better on it. And if I feel better on that high of a dose, then I can keep going until I love Janice, my practitioner. She really honors that I have my own communication with my body and that my intuition is in check. And she's like, you'll know when it's time to stop. And I just love that. And so what I'm going to be doing so that I can make sure I maintain health, even if I go into a Herxheimer response. If you don't know what a Herx is, it's basically when there's a massive die-off of a spirochete or mold or some organism, and there's so much die-off that the body can't keep up with the detoxing. So detoxing through this is going to be huge. So I had loaned out my sauna. I am going to get my sauna back. I'm going to incorporate the sauna again and my foot detoxes and enemas. And as well as, again, in the spirit of authenticity and honesty, I have gotten off of my rhythm. I moved my office and my home in the same weekend, like a month and a half ago. And since I moved, I have been cattywampus all over the place. Transitions are difficult for me, and that's okay. I accept that about myself now, and I just give myself grace. And so I have not been meditating or doing breath work or yoga. And so I'm getting back to all of that. And I know when I do meditation, breath work, and my detoxing, I can handle it. I know I can handle it. And it's just about showing up for myself the way I want someone else to show up for me, showing up for myself and loving myself through this experience, and being bold enough and brave enough to work with all of the stuff that comes up, and doing the work with myself that I essentially do with clients. And so I, part of me doing this live is I'll be tracking my journey. So I'll be letting y'all know, and recording how I'm feeling going through. So today I took my first 5, like all my lives going on with the updates, just so you know, they won't be this long about this. This one is long because I, got you caught up, but from here on out, I'm just starting from here. So today I'm taking 5 drops twice a day. I already took my first, and then I'm taking my double dose of ivermectin. And we'll see. I believe that I create my reality. Man, I really need to detox. Look, this is intense. And my face is breaking out too. The other the other side note of doing these foot detoxes, my skin looked amazing. Like wrinkles melted off. It was incredible. Discolorations went away. All the, acne and congestion went away. It was really incredible. These foot detoxes are amazing. So that's what I'm going to do. Melinda, I can't get past 100 pounds. Right. Okay. So there's a lot with that, that could be parasites. So I don't know if you've done anything for parasites. Again, first start detoxing. Even if it's a detox bath once a week for a half an hour. Just 2 cups of Epsom salts in, you don't want the water to be so hot that it changes the color of your skin. You want a nice warm bath. When you sweat, you want the sweat to be coming from the detox, which will happen at about 20 minutes, and not because the water is so hot that you're sweating. Just start with that. And if that's too much, start with a foot detox with just Epsom salt, and keep your feet in. The pores on the bottom of our feet are the biggest pores, and on our hands. And so you can still get stuff out there. I really want to encourage you to show up for yourself. Because I do believe that that's a big part of the metaphysical thing of Lyme. We have to show up for ourselves. We want someone, I don't know about you, I wanted someone to save me. I wanted someone to come and nurture me back to health. And then, it didn't happen until I did that for me. So parasites, if you're having a problem gaining weight, parasites can be a big part of it. For me, what I did was, and also it can be like gastroparesis, right? Motility issues, digestion issues. We're not, that acid in the stomach isn't working properly, and then we're dealing with food allergies. And so it can be hard to know what to eat. Like, with full credit that this is a whole thing. And again, you have to find what works for your body. And also, while we're doing a detox, you might lose weight. What people don't understand about detoxing is that it will get worse before it gets better, just like with treating Lyme disease. And while your body is detoxing, your hair might fall out, you might lose a lot of weight, your teeth might fall out. I had to get some teeth pulled because the acid was leaving my body. It hurts your joints, your skin might break out, you might get rashes. The true detoxing is a ugly process. But every step of the way, it was just an opportunity to work with my belief system, getting my teeth pulled instead of, I had root canals. If you've got root canals, get them out. And then it was about doing the emotional work to be okay with smiling and having missing teeth, and believing that beauty comes from the inside, genuinely believing that, and not just saying that. At every step of the way, everything that's happening to us is happening for us. And so just, but one of the best things I did for myself, Melinda, with my diet was added probiotics. And I take raw, I think that's backwards for you, but it's raw, it's Garden of Life, raw probiotics, shelf stable. They have one that you have to put in the fridge. If I put it in the fridge, forget it. I'm not taking it. It's going to be gone. Out of sight, out of mind. So, the kind that you don't have to put in the fridge, 100 billion, the ultimate care. And, doing a loading dose, which is taking, 2 or 3, doing more, because it's, you got to understand that the gut is compromised, so we have to replenish it. And so, also, if you're not taking a good magnesium, necessary, 100%. And then also doing, what's it called? Digestive enzymes. And I just ran out of mine, but I do Enzyme Medica, either Digest Gold or there's another one that they do. And every time you eat anything, taking a digestive enzyme, that was a game changer. And then the reason why I went on the fruit diet was because fruit digests in 15 minutes. Fruit is the easiest thing for our body to digest. Now, this can get tricky because some fruit is really high in sugar. So you can't it's like berries and stuff like that. There's a balance with the sugar because sugar can also cause inflammation, but sugar from fruit is different than sugar, from like sugar. And so I was like, I'm going to make it the easiest I possibly can for my body to digest. And so what I did was I started to make smoothies. And I do this every day. This is still a thing for me. And I put frozen blueberries, and acai, and oat milk because I like it creamy. And there's all kinds of stuff about oat milk getting out there, and maybe it's not the best, but this is where I'm at, and that's okay. You do you. If you like coconut water, do coconut water, whatever. And then I put peanut butter, which actually I just learned might not be the best thing because from what I just learned, there's mold in all peanut butter because of the way that it's stored, which is but again, it's where I'm at. This is how I'm feeding my body. And then I add some proteins or some powders. Let me get them. I'll get them for you real quick. I gotta let my cat in. My other cat, Buddha. Don't go away. I'm getting my powders so that I can show you what to add to the smoothies. Okay. So we've got oat milk, frozen blueberries, frozen acai packs. And the thing is like, once you see all the stuff that goes in the smoothie, like, oh, it's a pretty pricey thing. But this is pretty much what I eat all day. I make enough that I have smoothie all day. Anytime I get hungry, I eat smoothie. And now I'm incorporating more solid foods. But I pretty much started with just doing smoothies. Like, we've got to make it easy for our body. So oat milk, acai, blueberry, a big scoop of peanut butter, and this stuff, this shit right here, this is the shit. This is the shit. This is so yummy. It's Sun Warrior collagen building protein peptides with hyaluronic acid, biotin, Tahitian vanilla. Don't get the fudge one because it has caffeine in it. You can do whatever you want, but it's got hyaluronic acid, minerals, biotin, kale and spinach, vitamin C, tremella mushroom, spirulina, protein from rice and pea, and silica from bamboo. And it makes my smoothie so yummy. And with the blueberries and the peanut butter, and this, it kind of makes it taste like a peanut butter and jelly. And then we use naked pea protein, and unflavored, and then L-lysine, and we get a bag of it. It's powder by Pure. We get it on Amazon. Now, if you, Melinda, get this. When you're dealing with chronic fatigue syndrome, this shit will get the viral load down. Do as much like high doses of L-lysine. For anyone that's dealing with Epstein-Barr chronic fatigue, this is the thing you don't want to go without. And you want to, again, take like high doses of it. This is amazing. I love it. It keeps, man, It's good shit. And then for the hormone balance, maca powder. And I just add a little like half teaspoon, to like a big smoothie. And make it easy for yourself. Make it easy for your body. Your body is going through so much. Like, be so nice and gentle and sweet to yourself, and make it easy. Make it easy for yourself. And these smoothies are delicious. It's not like a punishment. They're super yummy, and I love eating them. And that is how I was able to gain weight. And then I also I wasn't eating any meat, and I had to, when I went to the Lyme doctor, when I went to Dr. Minkoff, he was like, you have to eat meat. And I was like, I don't have to eat meat. There's all this information out there that says you don't have to eat meat. It's like not necessary. And he was like, not everybody can go vegan. I had tried 4 different times to go vegan, and just for ethical reasons, spiritual reasons, animal rights, like all of the things, right? The world, so many reasons I had tried to go vegan, and I got sick every single time. And he explained to me, I have O positive. And if you have O blood type, you can't be vegan. You need meat. And I resisted that so much. I fought it, and I just was getting sicker and sicker. And finally he was like, please, will you at least eat some tuna? I mean, I was getting lost in my own home. My brain was I thought I had early onset of Alzheimer's. It was really serious. And I added a can of tuna a week, and my weight came back. My mental capacity came back. Like, it was a game changer for me. So if that's a part of something you're dealing with, Melinda, if you are vegan, I do encourage you to try fish and at least a can of tuna a week. And I know it can be heartbreaking, and I'm here to support you if that's a situation you're going through. I don't know your situation. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. I've struggled for so long, and I have tried so many things. It gets so overwhelming. And we look at other people in their process, and we go, okay, well, I'm gonna that worked for them. I'm gonna do what worked for them, and that will work for me. And then maybe we're at a different part of our journey, and we're learning something different. And then we try it, and then it doesn't work, and then it's like, what the fuck? And like, then the emotional stuff, the emotional stuff again is like the biggest part of it. But well, really the biggest part of it is loving ourselves enough to not give up, loving ourselves enough to show up for ourselves the way we wish someone else would show up for us. And then understand that the world will mirror that. Like, we can't not show up for ourselves. We can't abandon ourselves and betray ourselves and then expect the universe to bring in a savior. That's not how it works. First, we show up for ourselves, we love ourselves, we invest in ourselves, and then the universe will mirror that and bring in people that can also do that. And that's all stuff that I work on in my coaching program. And so just be super loving with yourself, and again, like, baby steps, like, baby steps are still steps. We don't have to, it's no go big or go home. Lyme is all about easy does it, gentle goes it, bloom where you're planted, like grace, mercy, ease, acceptance, patience, and just being okay with being where you are, and that this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. It's not a sprint. We're in this for the long haul. Especially if you get Lyme and you treat it right away, you might be done with it. Good for you. But if you have a month, you're in for some shit. And we're in it together, and together we rise, and we're here to support each other. And just, gosh, the biggest thing, I know I keep saying it, but like, show up for yourself in whatever way you can. Like, I remember in the beginning, every moment when I realized, like, oh, the world is reflecting back to me my own inner world. So of course, like, I was being abandoned. Of course I was feeling betrayed. Of course I was feeling rejected, because everything about me was abandoning myself, rejecting myself, and betraying myself in so many ways. And as I started to shift that within me, I'm telling you, the world around will realign itself to reflect that back to you. Sometimes it's instantaneous, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So, there's like a proponent of alchemy, of like emotional alchemy that happens, right? While we're going through that period of like, well, I'm doing all the shit and I'm still not getting the results that I want. Like, what the fuck? Like, we can't afford that. We cannot afford that. We want to feel those feelings of frustration. We don't want to spiritually bypass them. We want to feel them and be present with them and look at where that comes from and all the beliefs and all the feelings that are under that. And then we want to go, okay, what do I want to create? What do I want to create, and what action can I take for myself that will allow me to show up in the way that I need it most right now for myself? Maybe there's a belief that self-love is selfish. Got to work through it. Maybe there's a belief. I mean, there's so many beliefs, and again, like, this is stuff we work through in the coaching program, and the theta. But you can do it yourself. Like, you are your own healer. Like, none of us. There are times when we might need other people, but there's also the realization that we have the knowledge available. It's just about being present with where you are, and looking for what richness is around you. Like, what can you glean from your now, instead of looking at someone else's process and going, oh, well, I don't have what they have, and so I can't do that. Then understanding that, like, the reason you don't have access to that yet is because you're not there yet. And if you had access to that, you wouldn't even know what to do with it. And so, like, bloom where you're planted, and start with self-love. How can I show up for me right now? Like, oh, I'm sad, I'm hurting, I feel lost. Okay, how can I love myself? I'm a big fan of like rocking and tapping, and I stroke my face. It's okay. I see you. You're so sad. I love you. I'm sorry you're hurting, body. I know this is really hard and you're struggling, and I love you. I love you, and I'm doing everything I can to show up for us. I'm going to take care of us. I got us, and then follow through with that. So, like, what does that look like? That might look like realizing the cheese and dairy is an addiction and facing the addiction. That might look like looking at the sugar intake is related to parasites and starting parasites. That might look like maybe I don't have energy to get up and do yoga, but I can lay in bed and stretch. That's how I started. I couldn't get out of bed and do yoga. Are you kidding me? But I could lay in bed and I could stretch. I was bedridden for a long time. And so just whatever it is, it's like, what does this look like for me? What does this look like for me right now? How can I show up for me? And take it, like, we have so, especially as women, and not just as women, because I think men are also pressured to show up as like a provider, and you have to show up for everyone around you, and you have to be this kind of, whatever. So I think we all get this indoctrination of like having to be present for other people and doing everything for other people and being a servant for other people and yada yada yada. And like, for those of us dealing with Lyme, we have to shift that. We have to stop. There's a program running that we have it topsy-turvy and wonky, and you can't help somebody else before you help yourself. You can't. Trust me. I tried for years. And the more I tried, the sicker I got. And so I said, okay, something must be going on here. I'm going to pull all my energy back from anything outside. I'm going to allow myself, I'm going to experiment in your life. What happens if I give myself 60 days to be selfish? What happens if I believe that I create my own reality and then I make decisions based on that belief? What happens if I add this herb in? What happens if I do detox? Like, experiment, because each of us have our own path. I can tell you what I did, but what I did may not work for you, you know? And so we each have to like really get into the self and being okay with with the self, like, because it all shifts from there. It all shifts from there. Melinda, for sure, my world changed when I shifted into helping myself instead of taking care of others. It's a huge thing for those of us with Lyme. Huge. I'd say it's one of the biggest things. There's so much wrapped up in that. And that behavior is of helping others before. Like in theta sessions, I deal with a lot of people who have martyr programs. You know, they have the belief that they have to sacrifice themselves in order to be close to God. They have to sacrifice themselves in order to receive love. They have these programs running, or they took a vow of martyrdom because they believe they deserve to be punished for something that happened in a past life, you know? And once we shift those programs in session, their life and what they're able to operate from and what they're able to attract is completely different. It's completely different. So make sure you guys press the like button or tap the like button or whatever, you know, like this video, please. And if you think someone would benefit from it, share it. I would really appreciate that. It helps me get my message out there and you know, help other people. And well, yeah, I think that's it. Like, I think that's it. I'll be doing more regular lives to let you know how this process is going. I'm not going to fully begin weaning off of kratom until I see how I feel with this new protocol. But I am down from 2 teaspoons to 1.5 teaspoons every 4 hours is how I'm taking it. And that may be a lot. And I don't know how other people are taking it. I found what worked for me, and I've stuck at I was at 2 teaspoons every 4 hours for like 7 years. And now I am weaning down to 1.5 teaspoons, and I'm very proud of myself. And we'll see how. Oh, real quick, what just came in is make sure you're doing a liver support, whether it's milk thistle. Something that I do in the morning is I call them liver shots, and it's 1 fresh squeezed lemon and the same, whatever amount that is, the same amount of olive oil, and then a whole bunch of cayenne pepper. And like, I don't like spicy things. And this isn't spicy. Like, you feel it in your throat. You don't feel it in your tongue. You feel it in your throat, and you take a drink of water and it's gone. So, thank you so much. You're truly an inspiration. Thank you. Thank you. I received that with love, and I appreciate you being here. I'm so glad that you're here. I love having the conversation. That makes these lives so much more fun when people join and interact rather than me just like talking to myself. So, and you know, really feel free to like message me. I am on Instagram, misfit.sanctuary. I am on Facebook, Jessica Lynn Ross, and also my business page, Misfit Sanctuary. I am on Snapchat, and I am, what else am I on? I am on, I'm on TikTok, but I haven't really figured out TikTok yet. So, but you can find me there. And you always email me. My email is metaphysicalmisfit@gmail.com. And my website is misfit-sanctuary.com. So reach out if you ever want to chat or need support. I'm definitely here for it. Of course, if anyone is interested in doing sessions, or buying coaching packages, let me know. And have a happy day. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time. I send you guys so much love.